Hello, everyone. I am Graham Carver, son of the esteemed and noble Bo Carver. I wanted to begin a little show that just keeps you educated, keeps you in on world news, what's happening around the world, because it's important. It's a very, 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 very important thing to know. You will be much more educated if you pay attention to that stuff than if you go read books about ancient history. You want to know about what's happening now, then you want to go learn about what happened earlier so you can apply that because ancient history is applicable to life. I promise you that. History repeats itself. But you need to know what's happening now before you can judge it based off of what happened earlier. I say history repeats itself, and this is true within the current Chinese treatment of the Muslim religious group in China. So in China right now, they have the Kazakhs and the Uyghurs, if that's pronounced correctly, which are the two major Muslim culture groups within China. And China has now put them in re-education groups. Over 1 million Muslim students in China returned home to their parents missing, their loved ones missing, gone, completely untraceable. And they were sent to these re-education camps to learn maybe the error of their ways. And that is horrible. Regardless if you, I'm sure, you'll have some super nationalists that will listen to this and say good. But anyone with a heart and a soul will know that this treatment of people is unjustified at best and a sin beyond belief. It's horrible. Just think about it. It is horrible. And if it was happening to Christians, which, keep in mind, it probably is, no official word on that. I don't know for sure. But if it's happening to Muslims, you can almost assure that it's happening to Christians. And they are two growing minorities within China. If it was happening to Christians, I believe that within the U.S. there would be a much bigger problem. And if it is, and it is undiscovered, I hope that people around the world will support both the Muslims and Christians and whomever else they take under their control. Moving on, Hong Kong has now been in protest anywhere from 5 to 7 months, depending on how you count. It is a horrible, horrible, distasteful riot forming now. China has violated so many human rights. You would be astonished. A little moment ago, I actually don't know how long ago this was. Let's see here. It seems maybe not but a day ago or a couple hours ago. This morning, maybe last night, who knows. Arrows were fired by Hong Kong protesters. And one arrow hit a police officer. And so China said, or the Hong Kong police said that if riders continued to use, quote, deadly weapons, end quote, that lethal action will be taken against any and all protesters. This means guns against typically peaceful protesters, sometimes very, 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 very aggressive protesters. It doesn't matter. They're protesting what they believe is right, and anyone in the U.S. has the right to do that. And peaceful protest is typically allowed within any UN member state. Typically. If you look at Africa, you might get kind of funny mixed signals. And now we're at China and Russia. Those two are also pretty funny. Um, yeah, so that's what's going on with Hong Kong. They're also making these little Stonehenge-like barricades using bricks that make it almost impossible for police cars to maneuver around the infrastructure in Hong Kong, which is a pretty small area, if you didn't know, uh, towards the south of China. It is. It used to be owned by the UK, but now a treaty is being enacted, and no one is happy about it. On a happier note, Thailand may be happy. If you don't like weed, it's probably not happy. And for me, someone who does not live in Thailand and does not smoke weed or ingest it in any way, I don't care. I think it's funny. Thailand is now going to be allowing their citizens to grow medical marijuana to sell to the government, which I thought was just great. I think it's probably hilarious by all accounts. Pretty funny. Uh, anything else going on? I'm just going through, some world news, some articles. Chile, there's some protests going on in Chile. They're using lasers to tackle police officers and stop drones. Oh, there you go. Excuse me. Yeah, so violence wasn't a key factor in the Hong Kong protests for a very long time, but it is getting more violent and much more dangerous coming soon. It will become deadly much more than it is, and they're also using these chemicals in their tear gas, dioxins, which can stay in the human body for 35 years and cause autoimmune issues, reproductive issues, things like that, and can also cause cancer. So, lots of things are going on, and I hate to tell you, but not a lot of happy things. So there's a bunch of climate activists. They blocked access to a private jet terminal at the Geneva airport on Saturday, demanding a halt of the absurd mode of luxury transportation. The demonstration organized by pressure group Extinction Rebellion. So, not a lot of people are very happy with climate change, which I could tell you all night long that climate change is real and has been proven in multitudes by every single major climate scientist on the planet. But it is your choice to believe and act on that belief. If you don't want to, you don't have to. No one's going to force you. But I'll tell you, not believing in climate change is just as stupid and ridiculous as not believing. It's a fact, so it's weird to say believe. And whether you want to say that climate change is caused by humans or not, that's up to you. But the climate's changing, and everyone will bring up how, it's going to be so cold, global warming, and just stay educated, read about it, maybe just don't be ignorant. And it's just as dumb as not supporting vaccines. I mean, there's just so much proof, and any sort of disproof is not backed by science. So just keep that in mind. So there is just no mercy being used in China. A lot of people are having problems with climate change and all of this stuff going on. So what else is happening? Okay, so governments in Australia have come up with some creative reasons to sell the public on the use of facial recognition technology, whether that be public transport, pornography, and other dubious justifications for using facial recognition software. So during the protests, Iran has now cut off most internet servers to users amid these protests. So, I mean, man, it's crazy. The world's just going downhill. Although, let me tell you something. I heard someone get mad at someone else for not believing that the U.S. is the greatest nation on the planet. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I love the nation I'm in most of the time. And the people who fight for it, I love them dearly. But we are no longer the greatest nation in the world by any measure. We lead the world. Excuse the sirens. We lead the world in I think it's 3 categories. Major, 3 major categories. The U.S. government accounted for 37% of world military expenditures. So we have the highest military spending, I think, greater than any other nation by a plethora of counts. We lead the world in number of incarcerated individuals per capita. Both of these are useless statistics if you don't care. But I'm telling you, we are no longer the greatest. That's just a fact. And anyone who denies that fact is being moderately ignorant at best. We sadly do not hold what we held before, whether that be our morals. We fought for something bigger. We conquered space. Think about that. We enforced change instead of being afraid of it. We were really the greatest, but that was before my time. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Don't be an idiotic nationalist. You can be a patriot. You can love the country. But just know that we have fallen. And we are still falling dramatically. What else is going on? There is a report that alleges that child murder, torture, and sexual abuse by British troops was covered up by the government. Russia is returning 3 captured naval ships to Ukraine on Monday, so maybe their relations will improve since the Crimean Wars. Yeah, so Hong Kong police are holding AR-15 styled semi-automatic weapons. Those pictures of those have been circulating online. So Iran major cities after petrol price rise. There's a lot of protests going on in there. So, I mean, there's a lot going on negative, and there's not a lot going on positive in the world. And that's up to us to change. We can make these problems better, but not if we're ignorant towards them. Again, I keep on saying ignorant because ignorance may be bliss, but it is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Anyways, I've kept you here for 14 minutes. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. That's really it. I know it may be boring, but it's true. All of it is true for the most part. Thank you, everyone. And I'm Graham Carver. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, whatever time you're listening to this at. I don't have a name for this show, and I don't think I'll become the type of person to name this show, because this show is what you make of it. You could tune into this show to listen to a stupid kid talk about stuff he doesn't even know about. Or you could be tuning into this show to learn from a stupid kid who may know what he's talking about, or you could hold me to a godlike status. I don't care. Just please do your own research. Don't listen to what other people say. Don't be stupid. Uh, yeah. And just keep in mind that whatever you do, you can make some sort of difference if you try your absolute hardest. But sitting behind a computer screen, anonymously making horrible messages to people about their beliefs is not going to do it. You're not going to get anywhere with that. Be reasonable, be kind, and have a wonderful day.